Myself, I'm Praveen Bist, CIO with Amrita Hospital, and we have a wonderful, panelists here from varying industries with a lot of experience. I'm hoping you will get some of the experiences they will share, and take out some of the key takeaways from especially this session is about how human intervention along with the artificial intelligence, the two combined together work in a very collaborative fashion. And so we have, so the good part is we have two Amits and two Himanshu, so I also get confused. So I have made my own cheat sheet so that I don't make any mistake. So I'll start with Amit Kapil. Okay, so see, yeah, already made a mistake. So because I have a different sequence here, so we'll start with Amit Arora, and Amit is from a retail industry, right? Hopefully that part I'm not messing up. So we'll get his insight. And the question that I would like to put across to him is, so Amit, the whole panel, like we said, is about human intervention along with AI, right? So how do you see human-driven innovation complement the AI technology, and it can be used in the digital transformation?
Sure, thanks, Praveen. The most important part is like AI is being made by humans, which we need to understand, right? So there are few, capabilities of human which we need to understand. One is the problem solving, although problem creating also. So we create the problem and we'll solve that. So we are the one who will make strategies. So humans can make strategies, attain certain goals, and AI can definitely help us achieving those goals. So there are few things which we need to understand, which for now AI is not replacing that. One is empathy. Another could be human intelligence, strategy making, decision making in a certain way, in many ways I would say. Although there are technologies which are helping us making certain decisions, but the decision making is at the humans end. So I'm using a lot of human word. It looks like a Terminator movie is going on. So humans and machines anyways. So what we have done in our organization is, so we were facing certain issues in terms of managing inventory. So we used AI to manage our inventory, to plan, to replenish. We have 150 stores pan-India and 12 internationally. So we need to make certain, we have made certain macros in the past wherein what to replenish at what store. So we manage it internally through Excels. But now we have implemented a technology wherein AI predicts what is required at what store, based on the previous data, based on certain global conditions, based on what is going to happen there, festivals and all that stuff. So we have tried to input all those attributes and achieving the results, but it is still maturing. It has not matured yet. Still there is a moderation by human, which is another part. Right. So now we believe that in a year's time, we may reduce the inventory waste by 20 to 30% using this technology. So internationally, there is a lot of textile waste. So I talk about fashion and my industry. There are a lot of industries which are using this. So almost 90 million tons of textile waste goes into landfills every year in America itself, if I would say quoted. So these technologies, AI can help us reducing that waste, which is very helpful for us. Going forward, we can reduce a lot of waste, and I mean, fashion can be sustainable in many ways, which many companies are trying to do, right? So that is one small thing. Another is the bot. So we have a chat bot which is giving replies based on the certain permutation and combinations what we have fed in. But now we are working as a style bot, wherein the recommendations will be given to the person based on certain questions, maybe skin tone, maybe the shape of the body, and the style bot can suggest what can you wear, which will make you look slim, which will make you look taller, which will make you look good in many cases, which a human has to do, right? So we are trying to solve that. It may increase our conversions, but at the end, so we are from retail, so at the end, touch and feel and talking to the sales executive, वो जो ladies वाला होता है ना कि और बढ़िया दिखाओ types. So that AI maybe cannot replace for now, but there are a lot of things we are doing and a lot of things are happening in the industry. So Netflix is doing it. Netflix is using AI to get recommendations, but movie तो बनाना पड़ेगा human को ही, right? So there are, these things are going on, but definitely AI is helping us a lot in automations and analyzing a lot of data quickly, which will definitely help humans in many ways.
Great. So I guess the takeaway, like you said, is obviously there will be more and more automation going on, but still the final decision making or the buck stops finally with a human being, because अगर कोई गलत decision हो जाता है, who will be held responsible, right? So somebody has to have his neck out there to be, responsible for it. So absolutely, and I guess when you talked about the waste, it's about the end product, not necessarily the raw material, right? When you said the US waste, so that's like even worse, right? अगर raw material हमारा waste हुआ तो ठीक है, but you are putting a lot of energy, effort, producing a final product, and then it is going wasted. That is a criminal, I would say. So great if AI could help us in that. So Himanshu, Wadia, right? We had just heard you earlier. So next question for you would be, could you either from your telecom experience or any other industries that you could cite some use cases or some success stories where you have seen this human collaboration with machine intelligence, AI, doing some good work. So if you could talk about that, that will be helpful.
Sure. I think I've talked enough about telecom, so I will try to not to touch that topic. Another topic that is very close to my heart is pharmaceuticals, and probably post-COVID, we have all started understanding pharmaceutical industry a little more than what we used to understand in the past. We all got introduced to this term called API, active pharmaceutical ingredient, when we understood that everything was getting supplied from the Chinese shores. Having said that, the turnaround times of how quickly a vaccination in case of a problem can get onto the things, and at the same time, how quickly those clinical trials, like the gentleman before I was speaking mentioned, to how to expedite those clinical trials to ensure that the time to market a product gets lower. If I put it in a more industry term, how to shelf that product as quickly as possible is the problem statement that artificial intelligence can certainly solve. It cannot replace a human being and telling what it could just be the side effects, like you mentioned about fashion. It cannot possibly tell you about the side effects that we would need a human being to tell that. But at the same time, a molecular level research, what people around me, I have a few friends who work with pharmaceutical, they do molecular level research, and the person that I'm talking about works for blood cancer research. So there will be about 35 million molecules, and if one pharmaceutical scientist is required to research on one molecule and it takes about 3 days, we are short of time. We cannot let that go on for a lot of years. This is probably where another set of artificial intelligence use cases could come in. There could be the third, from the pharmaceutical side of it. The third use case will be where the distribution channels, like he was mentioning, Amit was mentioning that you have a bunch of retail stores. There are millions of chemists, pharmacists all across India. How to ensure that the supply chains don't break, how to ensure that their inventories of the drugs that they keep are up to date, and because it's largely an unorganized sector. It is not, though the Apollos, pharmacies, and the 1mgs of the world are coming in, but still, majorly, you will still like to call your Jan chemist and ask him to send that strip of Disprin on a Friday evening. How to ensure that the time to market and send that product to that unorganized chemist goes down, again, probably can be solved with a bunch of intelligence that you put in artificial intelligence and then let it do its magic.
Great. Thank you so much. So, yeah, good to hear some of the experiences from the pharma industry. And just to add, you talked about, Tata NMG and Apollo Pharmacy. And of course, not to mention about the Jan Aushadhi Kendras, right? Now they are also sprawling, pretty much at every nook and corner. So, yeah, the challenge is tremendous. So if you could use AI with the right data, obviously it can help in...
right, that's very close to what you work on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
And I think the next, another thing could be around the labs that have come up. So the testing labs, we all want to ensure, like monitoring of a server, till the time we don't monitor a server, we don't know how the health is going to turn out to be. Same way, we have developed in tier 1 and tier 2s, not tier 3s as per what I read, that the inclination towards routine medical checkups have grown. And hence, the Lalpats have, and a bunch of things who are working on the same platform have sprung. And eventually they also, the time to send that sample across, getting it evaluated, sending the reports back to the people, and then deriving a potential business where they could connect them to physicians or hospitals based on their reports. That entire could also be very AI driven.
Sure. Yeah. So very rightly said. So I myself am from the healthcare background, so I can add one more use case to this. So we all talked about pharmacy and diagnostics. Similar is the case where you have wearables, right? All of us, might be having a wearable where it's monitoring our parameters. There could be heart rate, it could be BP, and then with the advance in technology now, ECG is also becoming non-invasive. So just imagine you have this device, wonderful device. It's able to monitor multiple parameters, and it has an AI built in where it's able to detect some abnormality, right? So, but a typical person, he would not know what to do with it. So finally, you would need that AI device or that tool to alert somebody else so that he can take appropriate action. It could be a doctor or another clinician. So again, that is where you could see that human intervention along with a use of artificial intelligence is where the best benefit will be derived out of, right? Okay, so next, again, I'm looking at my list so that I don't mess around with the names. So I have Amit. No, I have Himanshu Sharma now. So Himanshu, if you could talk about how, the different partnership or the collaboration rather that we can have between the human-driven innovation and the AI-powered intelligence. So if you can talk about that way we'll have some of the perspective based on your industry experience.
Sure. So I think thank you so much, first of all, to the organizers, and good to connect with namesakes and other friends. I actually want to start with one example which you called out in your presentation. And the problem is not when my wearable is giving me advices, okay, take some water and everything. Problem would be when the washing machine starts giving me advices on my love life, right? So this integration between the Internet of Things and everything is definitely a risk. Since I come from the cybersecurity background, so I would talk about two collaborations. One goes without saying, it has to be a collaboration between the human and the machine learning perspective. Like Amit said, there are certain traits which are very difficult, next to impossible, to be able to be achieved. For example, creativity. So we thought we had been talking about, okay, AI will come, it will do all my work, and I will practice my song and dance. But on the other side, AI is doing, writing all my songs and lyrics and everything, and I'm ending up having these debates. Okay, AI will take my job. So from that perspective, the decision making, the strategy, the creativity. I think that is one place where I don't think it will take, it will be near future that it will start taking decisions or so and so forth. However, it has happened. We all know about Facebook, right? They had an internal project and about which Mark Zuckerberg himself mentioned about only after shutting that particular system down, that a couple of internal systems, they started talking to each other and started taking their own decisions. Now, correlating it with the security perspectives is the ethical considerations. So we have AIs to do our work. We have the beautiful example that you shared about the 40 minutes or 40 hours or 400 hours of data. Translate that and predict the possibilities. The data is also available, or the capabilities are also available with the adversaries, right? So who wins? That's the thing. So continuous monitoring, continuous keeping an eye, health checkups of the system is something which is inevitable. You have to continue doing it. But in terms of that point which I want to deliberate upon is ethical. How are we utilizing that data? So it should be ethically used. There's a lot of debate happening globally, on the pointers of how we utilize data in positive aspects, not to manipulate, certain decisions. आज से elections start हुए हैं sir. So there is a lot of AI happening on almost all the social media platforms, right? Predictive point of views. Barring the exit polls and everything, but I think there's a lot of AI-related decision-making or predictions and everything happening. So that ethical consideration, how are we utilizing certain data? What is the source of that data? I think transformative or transparent AI is something which should be the future. That if my data is being used for taking certain decisions, at least I have right to know that how it is being used. So those are the 2 pointers which I would want to cover.
Yeah, definitely. We need to look at the ethical considerations. Obviously, that's paramount important. We can't undermine that. So now, Amit, Kapil, right? So the question I would like to pose to you is, if you could, highlight in what ways human input enhance the effectiveness of it. So we understand, yes, there is a need for us to collaborate, but any specific areas where you think it can, the input from humans can ensure that the collaboration is paramount and then is more effective?
Okay, say what we have seen is, as he said, Himanshu said, human intelligence, it's always going to be there. It's not something which can be taken away, because whether we talk about AI or any other platform or any technology, it's all been driven by a thought or a problem which is being seen, or improvement which a human has either they thought about it, or which they want like to take it to the next level. So human intelligence will always was there, it's going to be there, and it's going to drive all upcoming technologies. And I think I don't have any second thought about it. Now when we say that, how the human intelligence, or how human can contribute to bring in more effectiveness and efficiency into the systems, or new platform, or typically when we talk about AI, I think we need to understand that one shoe doesn't fit all. So I think having and defining the right matrices and the right goals, okay, which means what we want that tool to do for us, what problem statement we would like to address, what matrices which we would like to measure, what is that we expect that tool to do for us. And I'm saying this because I've been into manufacturing industry from last 28 years, and I've seen it in the frozen product, I've seen it in electrical, automotive, and when we talk about automotive, all components of automotive, I can name, if I start naming, I think I've worked in 50 verticals, components vertical. I've seen one thing common, that when we have not defined the right problem statement, what we expect that system to do, we have never got the right results. And from last 4 years, I'm having a line item in this, in my budget, which says that, cost of failure, which means that money, is going to get waste. We are ready to waste that money because, my projects will fail. I know that project is going to fail. And NASSCOM has also published the data around 2 years back, where they said that 35% of AI projects, they die, initial phases, and just because the problem statements are not correct, So as a human, we need to know what we expect a tool to do, So defining the right matrices and the right goal is one of the criteria. Second is, what are we choosing? I think there are multiple choices which are available, when we want to bring in an efficiency and effectiveness into something, I think we need to know that what exactly we would like to do, whether it's a source of data, what we are looking at, because source of data is now multiple, You can have it from an expert, you can have it from a user, you can have it from, some open platforms, anywhere, In one of our use cases, where we failed, because as a human, we thought that, the functional manager is the best person to know all the processes. And that's what we did the mistake. And then second time when we did that project, okay, we found that, in our factory, we had this union leader who has been into that product. He's making that product from last 35 years. And he has been, and when we involved in the project, we could do that project and, using the latest AI technology in less cost, less time, with more quality and everything. So, we need to know that whom we want to be part of that project, So choosing the right, sources, that also includes, human, It's not only other resources. Third is that, as a human, we need to make sure that when we want an efficiency and effectiveness from a tool, let's not go for, the moon right now. Let's cut your pieces, the cake into small slices, have, one bite at a time. Don't try to have the whole cake in one go. Which means that, when you are defining or designing a tool, make it simple. Don't try to make it too complicated for a user to, बोलते हैं ना कि tool दो उसको डराने के लिए मत दो उसको use करने के लिए दो. Yeah, don't over engineer it. Yes. So make it easy, Make it easy, It's the more they use it, the more your tool will go through, the more validations. It will go through, more reiterations, and it will, you will have more versions of it getting released, and it will become more effective for the organization and the people who are using it. And the fourth factor, which I feel is very important, is, we need to, बोलते हैं ना कि एक गलती बार बार करो तो it's strong, but हर एक मतलब गलतियां नई तरह की हो तो you also enjoy it. So keep validating and revalidating and reiterating, your tools. As a human, it's a normal tendency that what we feel is that मैंने कर दिया तो it's all good. It's not that. No one of us know everything, So we need to keep getting that input from everyone, whether irrespective of, what they are, in terms of their contribution to the technology or, to the process. But when you keep revalidating the results, when you keep, and that can only be done by a human, You can still have tools, but tools, again, we need to revalidate that. Are they giving me the expected results? Because we have seen that AI tools, they have generated results, which were picked up from the open source, and the sources were all incorrect, and they have given incorrect results, So we need to validate as a human that, that results which are coming up, they are, correct, and they are something which can be consumed. So I believe these four factors, if we look at, they bring in a lot of efficiency and effectiveness in any, or, if, as we are talking about AI, in all such tools.
You want to add something?
Yeah, I want to add something. So one very important factor which Himanshu has also mentioned is creativity, right? So as you were mentioning about, Amit, the various tools and platforms. So we use various tools and platforms like WGSN and Fashion Scoops, which analyze a lot of data from the social signals, what trend, what people are liking, what kind of comments they are doing on various silhouettes or dresses. So they predict, what is going to happen in the next season, what kind of colors are going to be in, what kind of silhouettes are going to be in. So we use a lot of that data, but our design team uses their own creativity to create what is good for our customers. They take that references definitely from these tools because you cannot do it manually or through anything. So these tools are, doing all the stuff for us, but definitely creativity is something which a human has to.
That's very true, and just to add on to what you said, that's where when your designers are adding their creativity into it, that's where we create a difference between fashion and a style, So fashion will come, go, but style will stay forever, Style is something which is stable, Today also, when you go out, you still look for Oxford shoes and, Oxford shirts, Why? Because they are going to be there forever,
Okay, good discussion. I guess all rightly said, technology can be used in various ways and it's up to our limitation, our imagination, and we have to put it to use to make sure that it derives value and we get benefited as a human kind. So it looks like our clock is ticking fast, so I'll jump on to one question which I'll probably have all of you speak about, but maybe in a minute's time. How do you see, in imminent future, maybe I would say 1 to 2 years, not too long into the future, but fairly short-term future, how do you see our collaboration with AI and humans is able to do business transformation? Again, from your own industry, if you can elaborate in in 1 to 2 years, what do you see going forward?
Yeah, see, in general, I would say explainable AI could definitely help, because in that case, you will be able to know what factors AI has opted for to make to give any kind of result. Right. So you get to know those things. This is very important. This will help in reducing the biasness. Going forward, 10 years kya hoga, but super AI is coming, which is artificial general intelligence. वो क्या करेगा पता नहीं, but this is something which is going to come, which will help definitely in taking lot of decisions, which will help in decision making. But this we can see coming up in very near future.
Himanshu.
AI.
We'll just go down the line.
Sure. I'll give you an example. So GMR operates Delhi International Airports. When you go to Terminal 3, there are 8 gates at the arrival. The first one is for VIPs, and then next 4 are for domestic, and the last 3 are for internationals. Basically, everything merges inside. But at the on the top, there are new screens which are actually giving you the time typically taken, which is going to take in the queue when your initial screening happens.
Security.
Yeah, it actually tells you where it is happening. The data is getting captured via the CCTV feeds and everything. That's a predictive analysis it is giving real time that there is a possible delay in this particular queue. There is a queue next available. I mean, there's a next gate available which has lesser time. So go there. But do people see that? Sometimes, yes.
I have not noticed it yet.
You still need a marshal, right? There is a marshal standing there and telling, okay, sir, आगे चले जाइए. Sir, आगे वाले gate पे चले जाइए. So it happens. So I think that efficiency or fasten up the operational activity is something which is definitely going to be there. But then, but I think it's somewhere correlatable to the industrial revolutions. जब मशीनें आई थी तो क्या नौकरियां चली गई थी? हुआ होगा, sir, but लेकिन अभी भी काम चल रहा है.
Different avenues.
So you need to further strengthen up your skills. So I think it's still gonna take time where we can tell concretely कि क्या होगा. So that's my view.
Great.
Okay, I'll give 2 examples, first of all, I definitely agree, that, in the coming years, next 2 years, 3 years, I think the adoption will go up, and but that doesn't mean that, human intervention will go away. And I'll give you one classic example. I will not name the OEM. We supply material to them. We are into automotive business, and any car or any commercial vehicle or off highways or anything what you see on the road, we are making body of that, So we decided to track our shipments, through using RFID. Okay, so one of the OEM, which is our, we do around 600 crore of business with that OEM. So they refused to allow us to place an RFID, boom barrier or reader on there. And so since the need is ours, so what we have to do is we have to deploy a person with a handheld scanner. So every time the vehicle goes, our vehicle goes there, which is like every 2 hours we have a supply to that factory. So that guy, he use handheld to read the thing. But on other hand, the shift I have seen in last 3 years is that we operate with a workforce which is not that skilled, okay, but the change is coming, and the change is that now they demand a technology on a shop floor. They demand technology on a shop floor for 2 reasons. One is that they are getting a push from their families, which is again human. Because they are learning, they demand their parents to, they question them, which they are not able to answer. And most of them, they cannot afford a tuition for their kids. So they come to us, they ask, what is this? And then, so now they want adoption of the technology on a floor. Which is a very good sign of adoption of a technology by, by human, for their own betterment. And without having a fear of risk of losing a job. So I think it's going to be there. It's going to get much more aggressive. It's going to get much more refined. But yes, the human intervention is going to be there.
Himanshu.
So I'll not take a lot of time. I see time's up here. But I see a few ladies in the group, and I see a few ladies on my right as well. One quick problem statement that every one of the ladies would have in houses where how do I create a list of groceries that I have to buy from the grocery store when I go there next? Now, Walmart has been trying to solve this, and it's a very interesting use case. The RFIDs that's just been mentioned by Amit. Those RFIDs, Walmart plans to make that constant across everything, and an RFID reader to be installed in your pantries and in your refrigerators. Your bread slices go down, the RFID tag could just update your application that you need bread. Your dal packets go out of stock, it could just update you that dals are required. So before the end of the month, before your salaries get credited on the 1st of the month, you will already have a list of things that you have to buy and a predictive cost model that if you go to this Walmart, you might just save X number of dollars. So
I just want to add to this, Jessie. So it's like 2 days I was not well, and my fridge is telling me, okay, I hope everything's fine with you, buddy. You haven't eaten for 2 days. So that's going to be very dangerous.
No, consider that to be the bar at your house. If the bar of your house says that you haven't had a drink in 2 days, let's go party.
So I think great discussion. Since time is up, I'll just summarize. So I think, so we all agree that AI is here to stay, right? It's going to make our life better. Right? And sometimes, or I should rather say that earlier it was thought by industries that, digital transformation, use of AI is going to help me become more competitive, more efficiency increase. But I think now the customers are demanding it. So like as a hospital, patients are expecting me to provide that service. So I have no other option but to adopt to it, right? So now the kind of the tables have been turned, and now it is expected. So it's no more a luxury, but a necessity for all the industries and us to adopt it. So with that, I'll call it an end of the session.